first of all, okay, your Bach messages, all right, are the ones that Daniel Whiteside has added to Bach flower messages, okay? Now, Bach was a German doctor, all right, who developed all the Bach remedies. And he did this by experimenting with taking all this, like agrimony, for example, until finally there was a reaction to it, a sickness of some kind. Then he realized that that was the answer to that. Okay? So all of these have all the original flower bases, and along with it has been added the emotional basis of that. All right? So one is the flower, which it essentially came from, but the other one is our approach to all of those, which is a barometer reading.
Yes.
A feeling about it, an attitude about it. Right? So that's your Bach message.
That means when, so for example, the first one, acrimony, antagonism. So that means when our approach is antagonistic, so when we are working from antagonism, the remedy for us is acrimony?
No, the remedy is the words.
The words?
Awareness of the words. The flower has nothing to do with anything, except in Bach remedies, that's where it came from. And he's honoring the fact that that's where it came from by putting the flower in each one. But it has nothing to do with anything for us. What has to do is the barometer reading. Antagonism, and those words afterwards relates to a feeling of antagonism.
You can't help it, couldn't take that remedy.
Right?
Yeah, so we're using the...
Right. Now we used to, years ago, we used to use the Bach flower remedies themselves in response to these Bach messages. But in America, it's illegal to put anything in anybody's mouth unless you are a doctor. All right?
Really?
Oh, absolutely. That puts you in jail. Double smart.
Though, you know, these subtle links that I want you to understand what you're doing. Now, we've said it over and over again that we are working with past issues when we do Bach. And we are working with the belief system that we got from our DNA, which is father and mother. Beyond that, now I find that when we don't use any of the drops in our work because they're difficult to come by, and you know, we work on the level of intention. I have seen many people work with the Bach remedies that are available here, and they work well, you know.
And same,
yeah.
But it's physical, not emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. But more than that, this work deals with the intention that you put out there. So remember that. You know, that is what we are really doing. You know?
And remember, these are mamas and papas. This was my mother or my father's attitude. Right? That as a spiritual challenge, I wanted to have that. That's part of the reason why I chose them for parents. Now, when I experience this and I fix what I've taken from mama or papa, in me, I fix it in them. It's a win-win then. Because karma is lesson unlearned. And what you're reading is a lesson that was unlearned that I decided to pretend was my lesson, but it was really mama's or papa's. That's why when I say when you have these messages, you go, oh, hi mom or hi dad, which brings the stress down because it's their thing, and we're acknowledging the fact that we decided to play with it. And when we fix it, it's a win-win. It's a win-win. It's just another awareness of where did that come from? Why did I have that? It's because it was a choice. Right? And now we're becoming aware of a choice that we made. So it's easier for us to play, I don't do that anymore, I'm feeling good. And get rid of it. That's karma. Satisfied.
Okay, now, same page 9, if you look at beach, it says enthusiasm and in brackets says equal priority with resentment. So I'm looking at the barometer. I'm looking at enthusiasm.
So that means that you have both of those things going for you with that one.
Yeah.
And so this one and that one.
Alright? It's taking care of those two feelings relative to that issue.
And remember, Michelle, that when we, when this work was created, everything was muscle tested for.
Yeah.
It was not an educated guess.
Yeah.
That is, you know what, I feel everybody needs this emotion or anything like that. So if in the testing process, Daniel felt that, you know, this is what came up, this is what was used.
Then he would ask, is there more? And if it says no, then that's it. And if it says yes, there's more, then he'd test it. What else do we need to do? And then at the end of that, he'd say, is that enough? And if it said yes, he'd say, okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay. May I say one thing over here though
Yeah.
for this question? This is something which I've been asking myself also when I read the barometer, is hostility and resentment. Somewhere, if this is at the level of the emotion that I'm talking, it's not, and I feel both at the same time. When I'm reading the barometer, I try to figure this out at both the places. And I find myself not to be in a position to nail it for myself. Because
Okay, can we then, can we go back to the level of priorities?
Okay, let me
Then,
explain that.
please.
That this is progression, the barometer.
Yeah.
From antagonism, if that doesn't work, we go to anger. If that doesn't work, we go to resentment. If resentment doesn't work, we go to hostility. So each one builds on each one all the way down to no choice.
Yeah.
And on the other side, it's the same thing with acceptance, willing, interest. They build all the way down to choice.
Yeah, that is.
So when it says resentment, hostility, for example, that means both resenting and feeling hostile toward ourselves or whoever, because it is different, is involved in that, and we're being aware of and letting go of the emotional attachment of resentment and hostility to some degree to that particular reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Now I'm just looking at the word unappreciated under resentment. Yeah. And let's go to deprived under hostility. Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't you say they were connected?
Yeah, they are connected.
When I feel unappreciated,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
I feel
Right.
deprived of what is my due, and you know,
Right.
etc.
And if you look at the 1 to 8 underneath each one of those, they're also progressive. All right? Look at the first one. All right? I feel attacked. All right? When that doesn't work, outside I feel bothered. And then it goes to the next one. All right? Question. And that, so they are also progressive.
Yesterday when we were doing this clarity came when thanks to her and we arrived at the word belligerent, and we were actually looking up when Ritu suggested, and I know we were looking up, and then the sentence ended in the explanation of the word belligerent, and there was a dot and we were wondering where we were. So Ritu then pointed out that it went down to hysterical. That's when I suddenly realized these are no blocks. This is not acceptance, antagonism, 2 blocks and disconnected with the rest. It is a flow.
It's
Finally,
all
the whole thing is a
connected
flow.
anyway.
It's a progression.
Okay, progression.
Right?
Progression. Okay.
Because again, on the antagonism side,
Yeah.
right? We are choosing consciously to be antagonistic because we're not accepting or choosing to accept that there's value in this lesson.
Yes.
No, we're resenting and we're being antagonistic. So that works all the way down. They're all progressive. If we accept that I feel no, I'm going to do acceptance, then you progressively get all the positive sides, desired states of mind. If you do antagonism and you don't understand it or go to acceptance, then it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger for you until finally you say, wait a minute,
I have a choice.
you know, I don't want to play this game anymore. That's why by identifying one, we can see that we're not doing the other. They're 2 sides of the same coin. You're either doing this or you're doing this. And when you understand that this is what you're doing, you have a choice to do this if you're ready to do that. And when you do that, you get all your power back automatically.
Yeah. So then, shall we do the next one? Yeah.
Next question.
One of the questions was answered already. Yeah, I think the question was just answered.
Good.
Oh yeah, one more.
One more? Okay. It's all right.
Okay.
Now you're going to be embarrassed that you have another question, right?
Alright, the last one is, the last question is, you know, when we do the bounce, so when we go doing the barometer reading, we start with conscious, subconscious, and then we do the body.
Yeah.
And okay, but eventually we have to go down, we have to get down to the bounce, right?
Well, we don't have to, but it's intelligent to do so.
So why is it that, I know it's progressive, like, it's you know what we were just saying, but how is it that we do not stop we don't get the reading at the conscious level.
Okay, now understand this. That remember our belief system that we created was finished by the time we were 7 years old. So whatever we're doing subconsciously or consciously, it's in reaction to the first 7 years, our belief system. That's why we always take the bounce back to, how did I first decide to do this? And we're in the yellow part then, in the first 7 years of our life. All right? Now, that relates to subconsciously now, when I go to school and I'm a teenager and something comes up, I am reacting to that something or responding to it from the way I felt in the first 7 years of my life, to instant age recession. All right? So what I'm doing really as a teenager is I'm reacting to a belief system I've already created, and I'm adding to it then. All right? Now, consciously, when I have a conscious doubt or fear, I instantly age recess to less than 7 years old, the same as I did as a teenager. And I then react the way that I reacted as a child, because what am I doing at the time? I'm protecting myself from pain, fear, and fear of pain. All right? And I have this feeling as a child that my life is over if I don't do something about this. All right? So now in present time, when I'm 30, 40, 50, whatever, and I have a doubt, I go right back to that same feeling of my life is going to end, I have to do it this way or I will no longer survive. That's why in an age recession, what we're doing is we're identifying, when did I first decide to feel this way? When I first decided. And until we go back to the age of cause, we can't change it. All right? So now I go to the age of cause, and I not only get rid of the stress on it, understand it, de-stress it, and I put in a new program. Now the brain doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. So to the brain, when I'm back at 3 years old or 2 years old or whatever, to the brain I'm really there again. All right? I'm back to age of cause. When I first had this experience and felt they're abandoning me, and they're sending me to school, and I have all these strangers to deal with, and I'm terrified. So in present time, I'm playing terrified again, in my own way. Now I'm going back to the age of cause, which was 3 years old for her. All right? And I'm understanding why I felt terrified. I'm getting rid of the stress with a diffusion technique. Now I'm reprogramming it with a new attitude, which is the positive one I wanted. Yeah, I'm in school, I'm 3 years old, and these kids are doing something, and I feel great, I'm getting involved, I'm doing whatever. Now, to the brain, I'm okay now. So it's no longer a necessity of survival. Now it's just an old, dumb habit. Now we can change habits. But until we reprogram it, that habit is keeping us alive, we think. It's a protection. So that's the value of this work that nobody else has.
So when we reprogram it, Doc, when we reprogram it and then you arrive at the same point, say in the present time, does the new reprogrammed thing play
What comes is the same thing, only now it's just a habit, right? It's not survival. As long as there's survival, we can't fix it because we might not survive. The minute that we reprogram it, now it's just a habit. And we can change habits. We have to work at it until we convince ourselves that we mean it.
So it's not that I'm not going to feel that again, but it won't have the same power over me.
All right? Now I have a choice where before I didn't feel I had a choice, because if I don't do this, I won't survive.
So it's no longer on a survival level. So
exactly.
It's
now been transformed.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, into just an old habit. And we are a creature of habit.
Yes.
So what are we doing in conscious awareness? We're replacing an old habit with a new habit. And what's the old habit? I don't do that anymore. What's the new habit? I'm feeling good. All right? Okay. So now we're creating a new habit of feeling good instead of the old habit of feeling bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
By choice. Next question? Okay.
I have a question. What's the difference between age regression?
Okay. Now, yes, thank you. I've done this before. I'll do it again. In hypnosis, when we age regress, and I take you back, I could do that. I used to be a hypnotherapist. I can take you back to 3 years old. With age regression, you are literally 3 years old. With age recession, we're in the 3-year-old time track with present time awareness. And all changes that are made in present time. Yes, you're at 3 years old, but with present time, you're making that change. All right? So that gives us that responsibility again that we wouldn't have in age regression.